Boys, we're going racing. Today I'm going to be installing a line lock on my 1985 Chevrolet C10 pickup. I grabbed the roll control kit from Hurst Shifters. It's going to allow us to lock up the front tires, do some big smoky burnouts. So whether you're going racing or just want to have some fun, I'll show you how to install one. Let's check it out. First thing you want to do is locate your master cylinder and then go ahead and follow your brake lines to your proportioning valve. A lot of the times it's located very close to the master cylinder, but on these square body trucks, if you follow the brake line down, it's actually tucked up on this middle cross member. So to get easier access at that, I remove the upper fan shroud, the fan itself, and then the lower fan shroud. Now we got a pretty good shot at getting to that proportioning valve. Now that we found our proportioning valve, we need to identify what's the front brakes and which are the back. So the front on this square body is this line coming in right here. This is coming from the master cylinder, and then this line goes to the driver's side wheel, and the line down here goes to the passenger side wheel on the front. And then here's our rear brake line. That line comes out right here and then goes to the rear axle, and then it tees back there to each side. So for the line lock, the two lines that we're concerned with are the ones going to each front wheel, which is this one and the one down here. Everything else can stay hooked up. Now we're looking at a diagram of the proportioning valve the same way you just saw it in that last shot, just to help conceptualize what we're gonna do. Here's our roll control unit. We have one inlet port at the top and then 3 outlet ports, one of which is plugged in the middle. So we're gonna mount that somewhere. What we're gonna do from there is disconnect the 2 factory lines going to each of the front calipers, right like that. From there, we're gonna plug one of these ports. Then the remaining front port, we're gonna run to the inlet port of the roll control, like that. We have our 2 outlet ports left, so one of them is going to go to the passenger side brake line, and then the other one goes to the driver's side brake line. That's what we got to do. Easier said than done, and that might be enough for some of you guys to get started. So if you need to stop here, I get it. Go get it. We're going to head back over to the truck, start disconnecting lines. Real quick, I'm going to get this line out of the way. It's just coming up here to the evap canister. That way we'll have better access at our proportioning valve, and then I think I'm gonna end up mounting it right there. Slide a drain pan underneath here, and we'll crack these 2 brake lines off. Ooh, fluid's running to the middle. All right, got the driver's side off, and passenger side front caliper. Cool. I was messing around a little bit and I removed the clamp that was on these lower set of lines to free up the passenger side caliper brake line. Mounting it right here is most definitely going to be the move. I took that passenger side brake line and using these brake line bending plier things, I got these at Harbor Freight, and I made a 90-degree right here and just one more right here. Kind of loop that around. That way this can plug in right there, and then I'll figure out where to mount this, and then we can clean it up a little bit, make it look a little nicer. Before I mount this fast, I'm gonna get all my brake lines situated first. Now we gotta get our driver's side caliper line over to the other side of the solenoid. I got this kit from Summit Racing. It has a bunch of different length of line. I think it's actually advertised as a line lock installation kit. I'll make sure I link that for you. We need to put a 90-degree at the end here to go in to the line lock, and then the kit also includes some different fittings and unions, so we'll have to get a union to go between this line and the end of our new brake line here. Isn't that wonderful? We actually have quite a bit of flex here. See if I can't get in here, motivate that line to bend. So we're just gonna get everything loose fit for now, including this union. Now all we gotta do is make this end get to the other end of the solenoid, which shouldn't be too bad. Let's see how that worked. I went 90 degrees down just to take up some of the slack, and then 90 degrees back up to hopefully get into the solenoid. Even if we can just get this to thread a little bit, get it in place, and then we can kind of get a final fitment going. I'm gonna snug down all of our fittings and see where we're at. Slight hiccup, I had to add these 2 fittings on the end of the solenoid that have that flared, that inverted flare to accept the brake line. Try and reattach everything. Hopefully it still kind of lines up. I'm not gonna tighten them all the way until the solenoid's mounted, that way we can still flex it around like that. The solenoid does not wanna sit flush, so you have to kind of force it down. So I think if I put a bend right here to kind of relieve that. All right, that definitely helped. So I think we're at the point where we can go ahead and screw down the solenoid. All right, I marked my spot where I need to drill a hole. Hopefully I can get the drill in here. Looks like I'll be able to. 1/8 inch hole, and then the provided 10mm screw threaded right in. All right, snugging this down so I can mark those other 2 holes. Them other holes are way down. Well, it's much easier to see crap down here. Wish I had a lift. Holy crap. Random guess from the bottom. How'd I do? Honestly, 2 mounting bolts is gonna be fine. All right, she's mounted. We just have one more custom brake line to make, and that is our main supply feed to the solenoid coming from the proportioning valve at this port right here. So I'm gonna see if I can bend something up. Quick note, I had to run out and pick up one more of these brake line fittings. Luckily the parts store had one. The kit from Summit did not include enough. It only had 2 of them, which I already used there on the T. I've been messing around a little bit. This started as a straight piece of line, so I pretty much just bring the straight piece of line down and then see what needs to bend where, bring it back out, give it a bend. It's just a lot of back and forth, trial and error. And I think I got a decent fit going here. Let's see if we can get both ends started. That's looking pretty decent. I'm gonna snug these lines all the way down. I'm actually pretty happy with that fitment. If I could get this line just to bend a little bit farther away from the motor, see if I can get in here. Not again. All of our custom lines are now complete, and we got a good fitment. I'm happy with it. There is only one more thing we need to do, and that is plug the remaining port on the proportioning valve. The kit from Summit also included the plug. There, it's getting tight. Snug it up. Install complete. That was definitely the hard part. So all the hardware is installed for the line lock. Everything's good to go. We just got to wire this thing up now. Simple wiring. It's just a basic solenoid. Power and a ground. You send power to it, it activates the solenoid. So the ground, we're just gonna throw an eyelet on there and ground it somewhere on the frame right here. And then our power wire, we're gonna send into the cab and to the switch. And the switch, one of those ends comes from the solenoid, and then the other end gets 12 volts either from the battery, or I'm gonna try and find a spot on the fuse panel where I can just plug this right in. Now, here's the chintzy little switch they send with the kit, which I'm not a fan of. You can mount these on your shifters, but I kind of want a handheld one that I can just have by my side when I'm sitting in the cab. So I devised this. So this is just a simple 2-prong toggle switch. Taped it up, connected it to this 2-wire spiral cord that I salvaged from an old timing gun. The 2 alligator clamps for the battery posts on the timing gun, power and a ground, and it's in this nice coil. Then I went ahead and added the inline fuse that came with the kit. So our fused end goes to the panel or the battery, wherever we're getting 12 volts, and then the other end comes up to the solenoid. Check it out. Got it coming from under the dash right there up to my toggle that I can sit here and activate. Now for wiring, went ahead and found a 12-volt switched source. Only has power when the key's on. Here's our wire coming up from the solenoid. So these 2 red wires run together up and over the pedals, and they come out right there. And there's our inline fuse. And then we just zip tied the start of the cable right there, and it works. And I just busted this. Nothing when the key is off. Turn on the key. I don't know if you can hear that solenoid switching up there. I spent a lot of extra time on this truck to make the wiring look kind of nice. I loomed that single red wire, threw some loom on it, and then zip tied it all along right here. Then it bridges up here. I'm gonna wait to clean it up for good until we have all these lines back together and the shroud back on. But there it is wired up for now. So all we need to do now is bleed the system, just the front brakes. Bleed them like normal. Make sure the solenoid is open or the switch is turned off. Once that's done, we can go test it out. Burnouts. Here's our bleeding setup. I cracked the bleeder screw open on the caliper, attached the line, and then into this bottle that has some fluid in it to keep it submerged. That way air bubbles don't go back through. Got Courtney in the cab, ready to pump the brakes. So a lot of air is probably gonna work its way through. With the hose set up like this, submerged in the fluid, we should be able to just keep pumping and pumping. We'll add some. Topped it off, we're gonna go again, but I'm gonna watch all of our fittings up here, make sure we got no leaks. Go ahead. No leaks detected. All right, this bottle's probably getting pretty full. No, it's not. Keep going. Now since we got a pretty solid stream going, I can disconnect the hose and tighten up this bleeder. Driver's side now, same exact thing. There's some air working its way through the system. That is a pretty solid stream. Tighten it up. All right, keep pumping it just to verify we don't have leaks now that there's a lot of pressure in the system. I did see a couple bubbles coming from that cap off right there. That was actually really loose. Go ahead and pump it. All right, I think we're good. Thank you. We're done. Gonna throw the wheels and tires back on and then get the fan shroud and the fan back together, wrap up all this, clean up that wiring, and it's time to test. Got her back together. Everything fit nice, including the lower fan shroud. Some of them lines are sticking up through, but that's all right. And then there's the wiring. I threw some lume on it, clean that up nice. Master cylinder is topped up on brake fluid. I've got one more thing I want to install before we go out and test our line lock. That is the tachometer. Moon eyes. Classic looking tack. Want to keep an eye on engine RPMs, even though the truck is an automatic for doing burnouts, don't want to over rev it. And then when it's time to take it down the drag strip, I'm actually going to be shifting it manually with the column and practicing a little bit, and that's how I'm gonna do it. So tachometer is in order. I'm gonna install it real quick and then I'll show you guys. Got the tack done, and this might be some cause for controversy. Wasn't my first choice though, all right? I mounted it on the dash in the corner here. A couple reasons. One, with the column shift, this whole collar moves, so it can't be back here. It looks weird when it's like this far up and like just the center of things, and I wanna be able to see my gear indicator down here and obviously all my gauges, speed and fuel. I thought about mounting it down here. That's kind of stupid for a tack. You want it to be in your line of sight. So this is where it ended up. Got it all plumbed in. Really simple wiring. 4 wires. 12-volt switched, a ground, panel lights, because it is backlit. Pretty sweet. 1 wire going to the distributor, which I'll show you. Most distributors, if not all, have a spot for a tachometer already. So it says tack and battery. Ran it through the firewall, stuck a grommet on it, and right there it is. Go on, give it a test. It does a little sweep. I'm gonna go ahead and set the red line, which I'm guessing is done by this flathead. And we're gonna go conservative and set it at 5,500, which is about stock. Hell yeah. All right, let's go do some burnouts. Before we test our line lock, I want to show you how difficult it used to be to do a burnout just by power braking it. It's fighting the rear brakes the whole time you're trying to brake loose. Sometimes it just doesn't even have the power. And I can rarely get it to brake loose. Try that one more time. There it goes. So, you can get it to go eventually. It's just a pain in the butt, and especially when you're at the drag strip, you want to be able to nail it on the first try. Now, for our line lock. We're going to come to a stop, foot on the brake, and we're going to activate the switch. Hitting that switch activates our front brake, so I can take my foot off the pedal, and the front brakes are still engaged. Much better burnouts.
Got a little sideways.
I think we pulled posi right there too. All right, I got caught up in the moment. I forgot to explain, when you're ready to go, you hit the switch off and then it releases your front brakes. All right, one more time for fun. Foot on the brake, activate front brakes, let her rip. Second gear. What a great invention.
You're good for tires.
Yeah, yeah.
Money for that?
No. Look at that. Turn it up. We have a successful line lock install, but I would like to address the elephant in the room, and that is the 1 tire fire we had going on. Pretty much just the passenger side, lights off. Sometimes you get the driver's side. That's because it has open rears. Real soon, we're gonna be doing something about that. I got rear, locker, Caltrax. We'll be installing that. But before we do that, we're gonna be taking the C10 to the drag strip just to baseline it where it's at right now. It's probably gonna be slow. It's gonna do a 1 tire fire. But after we put all those modifications on, we'll take it back to the strip, see what kind of improvement we get. But that is gonna wrap it up for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed the install. Take it easy. I'll see you in the next one.